What if I told you that the fastest cotton harvest on Earth doesn't begin with giant machines or buzzing factories, but with a strange, quiet moment in the fields, a moment where the air almost holds its breath right before billions of soft, white fibers get pulled into a system so fast and so intense that even farmers joke the machines feel alive. So here's the real story behind the world's fastest cotton harvest. A process that isn't just about speed, but about a kind of rhythm between land, steel, and human instinct. Something you can't fully feel until you stand in front of a harvester that eats through a field like it's chasing time itself. And trust me, these fields are huge, stretching miles until they fade into heat shimmer. And those cotton plants look harmless and fluffy, but the pressure behind collecting them at the perfect hour is crazy. Because one wrong day, one weird spell of humidity, one heavy wind, and millions of dollars float away like nothing. So farmers don't wait, they move, no hesitation. And you see these enormous green and yellow harvesters rolling in at sunrise. Engines humming low like a giant's heartbeat, and the operators inside aren't just pushing buttons. They're listening to the machine, adjusting the pressure on the spindles, making sure the cotton gets picked clean without dragging dirt and trash. Because speed only matters when quality survives. And these spindles, man, they spin so fast. You can't even count the rotations, tiny metal claws grabbing fibers with scary precision, pulling them into the chamber where air pressure blasts the cotton upward into a huge round module builder. Forming those massive cotton bales you've probably seen on highways, that's the part most folks think is the whole process. But honestly, it's just the start, because once these bales are wrapped and loaded, the real fast world begins. The part inside the gins, where cotton gets cleaned like it's being judged, inspected, stripped, combed, sorted, almost interrogated by machines that were built not for beauty, but for absolute reliability. And inside these gins, you'll hear a roar like industrial thunder, huge fans pulling in the raw cotton and pushing it through pipes so fast the stuff almost flies as if it's weightless. And then it hits the first cleaner where seeds start popping out, bouncing on metal, sounding like tiny pebbles dropping into a bucket. And the cotton moves on, lighter every few seconds. And you'd be shocked how much trash comes out: leaves, stems, soil, tiny bugs, even the occasional plastic piece from fields. Everything gets ripped away by beaters and screens that shake like they're trying to break free. And you stand there thinking, wow, all this just to make something soft enough to touch your skin. And the fiber travels deeper into the gin, where saw blades slice through the remaining seeds, splitting them clean without damaging the lint. And the seeds get pushed into their own system, where they're turned into oil or feed, or pressed into cakes. So nothing is wasted, every part finds a purpose. Which is kind of poetic if you think too long about it, because farming always had that cycle of making sure nothing goes useless. And then the lint moves into the lint cleaner, a machine that almost feels too gentle compared to the chaos before, brushing the cotton like it's grooming it for its big moment. And as the fibers fluff out, they grow brighter, smoother, almost cloud-like. And then the cotton reaches the press, where it's smashed with insane force into dense 500-pound bales wrapped in straps so tight you'd swear they could hold a truck together. And each bale gets tagged, barcoded, graded, tested for length, strength, fineness, everything that decides if it becomes a t-shirt or a dollar bill or a surgical bandage or even aircraft-grade composite material, because cotton's future isn't just clothing anymore. It's in industries people never talk about, like insulation, filtration systems, biodegradable plastics, and, yeah, even the fiber-reinforced parts inside some electric vehicles. The more you look, the more you realize cotton is everywhere. And none of it would exist without this insane fast process where farms and machines and factories basically race against weather, moisture, economics, even global demand, because cotton doesn't care about your schedule. It grows when it grows, and it spoils when it spoils. So humans had to build a system that moves quicker than the problems. And what's wild is that the operators, the real heartbeat of this world, of work nights, chasing dew levels that change hour by hour, or adjusting gin settings based on fiber behavior that can shift with temperature. And that's the part people don't see enough, the human intuition behind the machines. The farmer who knows from the smell in the air that the cotton should be picked right now or it'll lose half its value tomorrow. The gin worker who taps a pipe and knows the flow is too heavy or too dry, or that the seeds aren't separating right. because no matter how advanced the tech gets, cotton still behaves like a living thing, unpredictable, sensitive, stubborn. And maybe that's why this whole process feels dramatic, like a race with no finish line. Because just as one harvest ends, the next cycle begins underground, seeds breaking open, tiny roots searching for strength, and months later those pure white fibers return, ready to be swept again into the fastest system on the planet. And honestly, after seeing how violently yet carefully cotton gets processed, you'll never look at a simple shirt the same way again, because every thread carries a story of speed, pressure, timing, and minds that refuse to slow down. So the real question now is if all this happens before cotton even reaches a factory, waiting in the next stage of its journey, and how much faster can this world possibly get before the cotton itself decides it's had enough?